Welcome back to Friends with Benefits Car Club, where the news is fast, the jokes are faster, and the sarcasm is basically stock equipment at this point. Today, we've got Genesis trying to flex with a Gran Coupe that looks like it skipped leg day. Nissan's bringing the Leaf back like it's 2011 again. Maserati launched a bespoke program because apparently rich people were tired of just being rich. They needed personalized rich. Waymo's Robotaxis are taking over Washington D.C. because what could possibly go wrong when you mix politicians and self-driving cars? Alfa Romeo swears hybrids are coming, and we're all pretending to be shocked. Honda's number 2 execs suddenly resigned, which is corporate speak for things got messy. And finally, Americans are taking out terrifying loans just to afford new cars. Because what's a little bankruptcy when you can have heated seats, right? Buckle up, this is gonna be a ride. And spoiler alert, we're definitely hitting some potholes. Genesis has revealed the X Gran Coupe concept, and let me tell you, this isn't just a car, it's a vibe. Imagine if a spaceship got dipped in obsidian and then hired a Scandinavian furniture designer as a stylist. That's the look. Genesis calls it a personal luxury Grand Tourer, which is fancy speak for, we want you to take us seriously like Mercedes and BMW, but with a Korean twist and slightly better warranty. The long hood, wide stance, and that signature LED lighting are giving full Batmobile energy, like Bruce Wayne on vacation in Seoul. And inside, you get the kind of minimalist luxury that says, yes, I've watched Succession, and I have opinions about Scandinavian lighting design. Suede, recycled fabrics, techie displays that probably judge your Spotify choices. It's all there. Of course, it's still a concept. That means when it hits production, you'll probably get one screen, no suede, and a very real chance they'll remove the coolest parts for safety or cost reasons. But still, props to Genesis. They've gone from, wait, who makes that, to, oh damn, is that a Genesis in less than a decade? That's more growth than most of us saw in therapy. Nissan has officially announced a brand refresh for the Leaf, set to debut in 2026. Yes, the Leaf, the car that was once the face of electric mobility and now kind of feels like your retired uncle who still wears Bluetooth earpieces. Reliable? Yes. Relevant? Not really, but Nissan is trying to change that. They're reportedly turning the next Leaf into a sleek crossover, which is both a good move and the most predictable thing they could have done. Why? Because in today's automotive industry, if you're not a crossover, you're basically invisible. The current Leaf is functional, but let's be real. Its 149-mile range is cute if you're just driving to the grocery store and back. In 2026, that won't cut it when your neighbor's EV can road trip cross-country without breaking a sweat. So, Nissan's redesign aims to bring it into the modern age, new platform, updated tech, maybe even DC fast charging that doesn't make you feel like you're aging in slow motion. Plus, it's gonna ride on the CMF EV platform, which is already doing work under the Araya. Translation: this Leaf will finally get the juice it deserves. If they play their cards right, the 2026 Leaf might actually be cool, or at least not embarrassing to park next to a Model Y. Maserati has joined the bespoke arms race with its Fuoriserie program, a name that literally means out of series, but in this context might as well mean out of touch, out of budget, and absolutely fabulous. This is where Maserati says, oh, you don't want your Gran Turismo in regular red? How about Verde Royale with silk-stitched headrests and carbon fiber trim from a retired Formula 1 car? Want a dashboard made from yacht wood and upholstery that matches your favorite suit? Done. Want your car to smell like Tom Ford's private study? Probably possible. It's all about making your already expensive Maserati into a one-of-one museum piece, one that you'll proudly park in Nobu and cry over when the check engine light comes on at 2,000 miles. This is Maserati's way of staying relevant in a luxury market now dominated by Porsche's obsessive build-to-order culture and Rolls-Royce's will put your face on the ceiling level of personalization. And honestly, they're not wrong. People with money don't want a Maserati, they want their Maserati. Let's just hope the customization options don't include frequent unplanned service visits. So Waymo, Google's nerdy little cousin who grew up dreaming of driving without actually learning how, is now sending its Robotaxis to Washington D.C. Yep, self-driving cars in the most chaotic, traffic law optional city in America. This isn't just a test of autonomous driving. It's a social experiment in how badly things can go when a car thinks like a computer and drives like a DMV employee on espresso. These aren't full-blown public rides yet. Waymo's easing into the chaos by giving test rides to employees and trusted testers, which I assume is code for people with great insurance and zero sense of self-preservation. The cars are decked out Chrysler Pacificas and Jaguar I-Paces, fitted with more sensors than a NASA satellite and a brain full of code that prays you don't jaywalk. Now let's talk about why DC is such a bold, read reckless choice. You've got motorcades blocking intersections without notice. You've got scooters riding against traffic, pedestrians power walking like it's a contact sport, and politicians who think stop signs are suggesting congestions. Add in unpredictable weather, confusing roundabouts, and narrow historic streets. It's like dropping a Roomba into a mosh pit and hoping it learns ballet. Waymo says this is all part of their grand vision to expand responsibly, which is hilarious because there's nothing responsible about sending AI into a city where even humans barely understand the rules. But hey, if these Robotaxis survive DC, they deserve full driver's licenses and voting rights. Still, the tech is impressive. The vehicles can detect cars, pedestrians, cyclists, flying squirrels, probably even ghost tours. But we'll really be impressed when it handles a four-way stop in DC and doesn't just shut down with an error message saying humanity not found. Alfa Romeo, the brand that brought us seductive sheet metal, questionable reliability, and a driving experience best described as beautiful chaos, is finally confirming the inevitable. Hybrids are coming. Cue dramatic Italian opera music and a faint gasp from purists clutching their V6s. CEO Jean-Philippe Imperato says hybrids will help bridge the gap as Alfa transitions to a fully electric lineup, which, let's be real, sounds like the beginning of a midlife crisis. We're still fun, but now we're responsible too. It's like if James Bond started driving a Prius on the weekends to lower his carbon footprint. The first of these hybrids is expected to show up in the Tonale or in an upcoming model that hasn't been revealed yet. And yes, it will be a plug-in hybrid because mild hybrids are basically like decaf coffee. What's the point? But here's where the real alphaness kicks in. They're promising that the hybrid system will enhance driving performance, not dull it down, which is either bold marketing or the automotive equivalent of saying, don't worry, I can change, and we want to believe them. We really do. But Alfa's track record is a mix of pure joy and check engine lights. It's like dating someone you know is toxic, but they just look so good doing it. There's also a deeper strategy here. This move helps Alfa stay competitive in markets like Europe and North America, where emissions rules are stricter than your grandma at church. It also gives them time to perfect their electric transition without alienating their fan base, many of whom still think hybrid is a dirty word. So yes, Alfa is going green, but they're doing it with swagger, style, and probably a dramatic press release in Italian. If anyone can make hybrids sexy, it's them, or they'll implode trying. Either way, we'll be watching with popcorn. In a plot twist no one saw coming, except literally everyone in corporate America lately, Honda's second in command has suddenly exited stage left due to misconduct allegations. And when I say suddenly, I mean faster than a Civic Type R launch in Plus R mode. Now, Honda hasn't dropped the spicy details yet, which of course makes the whole thing way more interesting. All we've been told is that the exec's actions violated company policies. Translation? It could be anything from garden variety corporate drama to something straight out of an HBO boardroom scandal. Either way, somebody at Honda HR is probably having the worst week of their life. The timing couldn't be more awkward. Honda is in the middle of an EV identity crisis, trying to shed its dad car image while figuring out how to be cool again without borrowing GM's homework. The recently announced Prologue SUV is Honda's big electric play, and while the car looks promising, this executive exit puts a weird cloud over things. Worse, this isn't a mid-level manager we're talking about. This is the number 2 person in charge. That's like losing the vice captain of your soccer team mid-match because they got caught trying to bribe the ref. Now, Honda is famous for its clean-cut, no-drama image. So when something like this breaks out, it's like your high school valedictorian getting arrested for tax fraud. You're just left blinking like, wait, Honda? Of course, Honda being Honda, they're already working on making it disappear quietly. No angry pressers, no messy fallout, just a polite internal shuffle, and we thank him for his contribution statement while quietly removing his LinkedIn page from their press releases. We'll probably never know what really happened, but you can bet your torque wrench that this isn't the last shakeup we'll see from legacy automakers trying to transition into the messy world of EVs, AI, and billion-dollar pivots. Let's talk about one of the scariest trends happening right now in the car world. And no, it's not the death of manual transmissions. It's the fact that Americans are now financing new cars with loans so long, you might still be paying them off during your retirement cruise. We're talking 84-month loans, 96-month loans. Some banks are even pushing subprime borrowers into deals with interest rates so high they'd make payday lenders blush. Also, people can afford that fully loaded GMC Yukon Denali, or worse, a mid-trim Honda HR-V. According to analysts, monthly car payments are now averaging close to $750 a month, and that's just for normal people. For anyone buying something remotely luxurious, you're talking $1,000 plus a month. That's not a car note, that's a rent payment. For something that depreciates faster than your crypto portfolio, the real kicker, a lot of these buyers are rolling negative equity from their old cars into their new loans, meaning they're basically underwater the moment they drive off the lot. It's like trading in your busted jet ski and somehow getting a yacht that also leaks. Dealers love this. They get to sell more inventory, tackle more finance charges, and stretch buyers out so thin you could use their financial plans as tracing paper. Banks are thrilled too, for now. But we all know where that this ends, a wave of repossessions in a year or two, when people realize that financing a $45,000 sedan at 13% APR over 8 years wasn't their brightest move. This is the automotive version of the housing crisis, except instead of losing your house, you lose your Hyundai. And instead of predatory lenders, you get Carl from the dealership convincing you that you really need the $3,200 ceramic coating package. Bottom line, we're headed for a debt-fueled car apocalypse unless something changes. Until then, buckle up and make sure your payments are on autopay. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button. If you didn't, hit the dislike button. We can take it. Leave your thoughts in the comments. Which story shocked you the most? And if you want to catch up on previous episodes, I'll leave them up on the screen for you. Seriously, thank you for watching to the end. It means the world to us. Whether you're here for the laughs, the news, or just vibing, you're officially part of the Friends with Benefits family now. Remember, we don't just drive cars, we drive bad decisions with launch control. Till next time, keep dreaming, keep driving, and remember, if the car you're driving doesn't make you feel like a superhero, you're driving the wrong one. Friends with Benefits, driving off.